Hi, my name's Mark Peterson. I'm from Peterson Farms, LLC. We're a potato barley rotation farm in south central Colorado. We are planting potatoes today. I want to kind of show you the process of how we do it, what we do when we plant. Right now, we're sitting at the edge of the field, have the planter loaded. I'll show you the process of how we put on our chemicals and fertilizer. We do use a organic type chemical we put on the seed piece to help with the good bugs in the soil. So I'll show you how we do that, and I'll show you how we apply our fertilizer, and I'll show you what we do in the process here. So. We usually start planting the last week in April, and we'll usually go till the first week of May. And what we're trying to do here is we have some late freezes here, and potatoes do not like freezes at all. So if we can keep the potatoes in the ground, usually we try to shoot for June 10th is when our emergence date is going to be. And if we can hit that time and get through the last of the freezes, then we'll be good to go for the summer. All right, this is a potato planter. This is how we get the seed in the ground. You can see the rows that we're making and how we're going through the field. What we do here is we have our seed in the big bin in the back. It flows through into little bins here on the front, and then these cups pick them up. And what the cups do is they're spaced at a certain distance in between each cup. So whatever speed we're going through the field, it'll turn them cups to match whatever spacing we want in the field. We're trying to plant the potatoes at 11-inch centers. And I'll dig some up here so you can see what we're trying to do here. Hey, there's one right there. And we're about 5 to 6 inches deep. Here's another one. And you can see we're trying to run about 11-inch centers. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to plant the seed piece in the middle of the row, and we're trying to get that fertilizer knife to run right in here. And then when the potato sprouts, all these little eyes on the potato will sprout a sprout. And what we're trying to do is when that sprouts, we want it into the food to where it has something to eat when it's growing. So we apply probably about 2/3 of the fertilizer at planting time. We will at later time put a little bit of top dress over the top, and then we'll put the rest through our irrigation system, our center pivots. This is all hydraulic system, so it's all controlled by GPS and speed control. The speed control's on the back end of on the tire of the planter. It goes around and plants the potatoes. All this other stuff up here, these here are sight gauges for our fertilizer. This is our control valve for our fertilizer, and this is our fertilizer pump. This is hydraulically driven, and then it flows into this Raven unit, and it's all controlled from the cab through a GPS guidance. So we know we're applying the right amount of chemical for what we're doing, the right amount of fertilizer. The other thing we have back here is our unit for putting on our compost tea. And what we do with this is we spray it directly on the seed piece and in the bottom of the seed row, and then we cover it up with dirt. And when we put this on, all we're trying to do is feed the good bugs is what we're trying to do. It has a lot of good nutrients and a good amount of good stuff to it, so we're just trying to give that seed piece a little protection, and then a good growing base where when it sprouts, it'll sprout out into the compost tea, and then into the fertilizer. You'll see these knives on the back here. This is how we apply the fertilizer. What we try to do is get where the seed piece is at in the middle of the row. We're trying to get the fertilizer applied in a band right below the seed piece. Like if the seed piece is here, this is where the fertilizer is. So when the roots grow, it grows right into that fertilizer band. So it gives it a nice shoot to get going. And I think that's about it. We'll get up on the planter here now. All right, we're up on the planter now. We have our cups here that pick up the seed, and we got the little bins where the seed sits in, and then the pile of potatoes behind it. And what it does, it gravity feeds into these bins, and it's got little plates below it that vibrate, that kind of help the seed go into the cups. These things have little electric kickers back behind them. The kickers vibrate the cups to where we only get one seed piece at a time into the cup. That way we try to get 11 inches on center with our seed piece, and we only want one, because if we have two, it's just more competition. These up here are ag cams. They're how I watch from the cab on what's going on back here. I have one on every 2 rows. This is a 6-row planter, so I have 3 ag cams. And then up top we have a John Deere Starfire. The planter has steering on it as well as a tractor, to where the guidance is dead on where I want it to be in the field. It's a straight line. Everything's done by GPS out here. So I think that's about all. GPS, my chemical rate controller, and my fertilizer rate controller. And as you can see, I'm putting on 66 gallons per acre. So this thing should stay pretty close to that. Once in a while you see a bump, we'll hit a little undulation in the field and it'll change a little bit, but there's a valve in there that controls that flow. And when it jumps off that, it'll control it to where it'll go back to where it needs to be. Up here's my planter controller. It controls, it has a skip controller feature in it. That's what this here is. If it starts, runs out of potatoes in a row, it'll start beeping at me and tell me which row it is and which one's skipping. It has electronic kickers. I was telling you before how it kicked the potatoes on that belt, and that's what this is. It controls that, and this is what controls my switch that shuts the hydraulic pump off at the end of the field that controls the cups. If you look down here, this is my ag cam screen, and what I have is I have it on a rotation where it goes to each row or each set of rows for 5 seconds, and then it switches to another row. And I can watch here and see if I'm getting doubles, if I'm getting skips, it kind of gives me a better control than when I get up here on this screen. So this kind of shows me what's going on back behind where I can't see. It's just kind of a nice safeguard to have, and gives me something to stare at all day. So that's all I get to look at all day for about 12 hours a day when I'm planting potatoes. Alright, this is our seed loading operation. This little tractor we use to run our generator, run our piler, and our truck. Potatoes come from the cellar out here in a truck. We unload them out of a truck and run them up a piler, and just put them in the truck doing that. I have a little remote control that I use to run the piler with, and I have control of the truck and the belts on the piler, so I can shut everything off and turn everything on from my remote, so I can watch everything pretty close. This over here is the fertilizer. When we're filling up our fertilizer, we'll just hook up our hose, put it in the planter, and that's just liquid fertilizer.